Today we're going to talk about the book of Ruth. The book of Ruth starts with a very hard situation. There's a famine in the land. That means there's no food. In ancient times, you couldn't just ask another country to send you their food. You died. And so this family decided they were going to leave in order to save the lives of their family. And the man's name was Elimelech. Interesting name because it means God is my king in Hebrew. And they went to Moab, a nearby country, where they settled with this man and his wife and his two sons. And after time, the two sons married girls from Moab. And then terrible tragedy continues to affect the family. The father dies, and then the two sons. Naomi is left a widow, and with her two Moabitess daughter-in-laws, also widows. Now, this is a terrible, terrible situation because these women were left without anyone over them as a protector. No way of making an income in those days as women. And so Naomi tearfully asked her daughter-in-laws to leave, go back to their families' homes, and she proclaims herself to be a bitter woman who's lost everything. Now, we all know the story. Ruth refuses to leave and joins herself to her mother-in-law to come back to Israel. When I was thinking about this story, I thought, today we also live in a world where there's a lot of difficulty. Here in Israel, we have nearly 100,000 people in quarantine because of the coronavirus. People are being forbidden to come into the country from places from which the virus seems to be most heavily affecting people. And the fear of the coronavirus has spread over the whole world. And when I think of this fear, when I see the reactions when someone coughs or someone looks sick, how everybody shies away, I think that some of that fear must have been in the family of Elimelech and the people of Israel at that time. Famine stalked the land. Death seemed almost certain. Running away, trying to find somewhere to find sustenance, maybe worked in the short term, but in the long term, almost the entire family was lost anyway. Well, Ruth is especially interesting to me because Ruth is a Gentile. She's a Gentile who saw that the God of Israel was the real true God. Now, maybe she learned this as she was in the home with her new husband from Israel. Maybe it was from her mother-in-law. But when Naomi asks her to leave, she says, "No, your God will be my God." She pledged allegiance to the God of Israel. And from that moment, I believe, her fortunes turned. Because you see, when we put our trust in the God of Israel, when we say, whatever happens, I'm going to be with you, God comes alongside us. And the rest of the story is like a fairy tale. This girl from Moab, a Gentile girl, comes to Israel. She finds food in the field of Boaz. Boaz marries her, and one of her ancestors, one of her descendants, becomes King David. And of course, for us as Christians, that's also interesting because Jesus is from the same line through Mary, his mother. So what I want to tell you today is the God of Israel is still alive. The God of Israel that rescued Naomi and Ruth is still the God that will rescue you. Don't live in fear. Yes, take precautions. That's wise, and God gives us wisdom. But put your trust in God. Pledge your allegiance to Him. He has a plan. He has a purpose for you. And even though we may go through tough times, the God of Israel will never, ever leave us. And remember the words of Jesus when He said, "Lo, I am with you always, even until the end of the age." So keep your mind on Ruth. Remember how God provides, even for those who have not been His children, if they will just say, "God, we're going to be your children."